Pennsylvania on a Thursday, August 15th, middle of the month. I don't know. Can you hear that sound? Can you hear me, first off? If anybody's there, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, number one. Number two, are you hearing that annoying sound in the background? The heating and ventilation system seems to have gone wonky on the building over here, and it's incredibly loud. I've left my earpiece in this time so I can communicate. I'm hoping you can hear me. I don't know if you can hear me. I think you should be able to hear me. Sorry for this, but I just want to make sure people can actually hear me. Welcome to the program on a Thursday. We did have an early morning broadcast this morning. It wasn't a normal news broadcast. It was really just a news announcement, breaking news out of South Africa, where Floyd Shivambu has dumped the Economic Freedom Fighters, a co-founder of the political party, along with Julius Malema. He has abandoned the party in total. What is this? Somebody's inviting me to connect with something. Sorry, always getting announcements when I use my mobile. My hair looks a little funky there. See if I can't fix it up a little bit. Anyway, welcome back into the program. Nobody is commenting yet, telling me whether they can hear me or not. Okay. All right, I don't know if people can chat. I did leave the chat setting on, so please can somebody let me know that you're there. Otherwise, I'll just not be live any longer. I'll cancel it. I need to know somebody's there and you can actually hear me. Otherwise, we're just barking at the wind. Anyway, I'll go for a moment or so because there will be a slight delay between what I'm saying and what you are actually seeing. Okay, good. You can hear me. There it is. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. It's me again, Ulrich Venter, and Alan Coates says hello. All right, folks. Can you hear that annoying sound in the background? These Samsung headphones are pretty good. They do cancel out other noise, but it doesn't cancel it out for me. All right, you guys can't hear me. Thank you so much for that. Thanks to everybody who tuned into the earlier broadcast when we announced the departure of Floyd Shivambu. The irony is Floyd Shivambu said that he's leaving the EFF, and it was a revolutionary act. A revolutionary act? Is he high? That's not a revolutionary act. That's the act of someone that's looking for greener pastures or brighter days, or is a coward fleeing, or somebody that's made a dirty deal, or somebody that is going to give state's testimony and evidence against his other friends in the EFF. I don't know what's going on with Floyd Shivambu, but it's not a revolutionary act, not even remotely. But it is nice to see him try to put a, lipstick on the pig. And did you see, if you actually saw the photograph or watched the press conference, Julius Malema, the sullen, the despondent Julius Malema, sitting at the table kind of like this, like, poor Juju. His friends are abandoning him. His co-founder of the party has abandoned him in his darkest hour as the EFF implodes. It will be interesting to see who else leaves the party. I got stories about that. Self-serving act. Exactly right, Charles. That's exactly right. Okay, you can hear that background noise. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Nothing I can do about it. Thanks for tuning in. I guess that'll be my music. I wonder if we'll get a copyright strike from YouTube for that grinding sound in the background. No, YouTube. We can exactly... They'll probably give me a copyright strike. That was industrial noise in the background. That copyright belongs to... Watch me get a copyright strike for it. Yes, he cried like his mommy just died. That's what he said, Dylan. That's pretty sad. Crybaby. All right, let me get to the news. I do have some news items, and things are going well here on this end. I may actually be able to do my broadcast tomorrow for the Bulls game. I thought I wasn't going to be able to do that, so possibly we'll be able to do it. So looking forward to that tomorrow if I'm able to do it. But let's talk about the other big news. It's not just Julius Malema and EFF. Also, some big, Grinder from Judas Priest. There you go. The European Union has disavowed Thierry Bretton after he threatened Elon Musk. This is huge news, folks. Brussels slaps down Thierry Bretton over a harmful content letter posted on Twitter to Elon Musk. He's an out-of-control bureaucrat and leftist fascist dictator, a commissar for the Union of Soviet Socialist Europeans in Brussels. So, EU Commissioner for Internal Market, Thierry Bretton, found himself at the center of a diplomatic row after sending a strongly worded letter to Elon Musk. In an unprecedented rebuke, Brussels has distanced itself from Bretton's actions, claiming he acted without approval from European Union Commissioner President Ursula von der Leyen. The Commission released a statement to the Financial Times asserting the timing and wording of the letter were neither coordinated nor agreed to with the President nor with the Commissioners. The fallout from this incident has reached the highest levels of European governance. Politico Europe reported that 4 separate EU officials confirmed Bretton's threat to Musk caught many off guard within the Commission, as highlighted by Zero Hedge. Now, one official, speaking on condition of anonymity, delivered the scathing critique. The EU is not in the business of electoral interference. DSA implementation is too important to be misused by an attention-seeking politician in search of his next big job. Whoa! That is an epic smackdown for Thierry Bretton, the fascist commissar from Paris. Gay Paris, Thierry Bretton, ils sont pow! On ne peut pas faire les choses comme ça, Thierry Bretton. C'est pas dans les règlements et les lois des Unions européennes. Vous êtes vraiment un moqueur. No. Thierry Bretton got a PK. He got a PK. Yep, unbelievable. PA only got $2,500 bail after being extradited. Oh, he's yeah, 2,500. That's ridiculous. 2,500 rand and $120 bail. That is ridiculous. She's a dangerous person, and then she got bail. They had to get, if you have to extradite someone from another country, they shouldn't be getting bail of $120. That's a joke. Her flight cost thousands of dollars. Yep. Now, Floyd Shivambu said that his exit from the EFF is not a vote of no confidence after he dumps the EFF for the MK party. EFF Member of Parliament Wanzele Mani will also be leaving the party. So that takes the EFF from 39 members of parliament down to 37 temporarily until they give someone like Jack Markowitz a seat in parliament. Can you imagine that, Jack Markowitz? EFF, all the way, evil white people. Jack Markowitz will be the next member of parliament for the Economic Freedom Fighters. Could you imagine that, folks? Wouldn't that be something? Now, this is what Floyd Shivambu had to say in his exit from the EFF. I believe the aspirations and vision contained in the organizational redesign document of the EFF can still be achieved. My non-renewal of membership of the EFF is not a vote of no confidence in the organization, but a revolutionary act that will allow progressive forces to unite and work towards the agenda for progressive revolutionary change. Cuckoo. EFF President Julius Malema accepted Shivambu's resignation, but added that the door would always be open if he wished to return. So Juju says Floyd can come back at any time. He's welcome back in the party. Malema said, when he sent me a letter yesterday, I felt the pain, the same pain I felt when I heard about my mother's passing. I told him that resigning from the EFF is like resigning from himself because he's a co-founder. I'm sorry, folks. I've got a little tear there. A little tear for the departure of Floyd Shivambu from the leftist, communist, socialist. By the way, he described the EFF as a Marxist-Leninist party. Do you get the irony of this? So this African party, founded by Floyd Shivambu and Julius Malema, is based on Marxist-Leninist ideology. Last time I checked, Karl Marx was a Kraut, and Vladimir Lenin was a Russian. So a German and a Russian, European philosophy, European political ideology is what drives the Economic Freedom Fighters, a party that purports to represent the downtrodden Africans, the black man, the common man. That's the EFF. But all their ideology apparently is based on a communist German and a communist Russian. Oh, the irony. And add insult to injury, on top of that, Floyd Shivambu is leaving the EFF and he's joining the Umkhonto we Sizwe party, the Spear of the Nation. The party that disavows Roman Dutch law, the party that wants to return all black Africans to subsistence farming and no Western ideals. Just, these people are so full of crap. They are so full of crap. And people actually believe this garbage. They actually believe it. You know, can you imagine that? Hey, Marilyn, how's it going? Elon Musk just laugh it off. Exactly, Charles. Yeah, Mark Sayers is here. Sounds like a Dear John letter. Yeah, it was probably written by AI. That's pretty good, Funk Dunk. Yes, we have confirmation now coming in from the EFF. Floyd Shivambu's letter was apparently drafted and printed by artificial intelligence. Yes. Malema added that he expected more of his fighters, who were loyal to Shivambu, to follow him and join the MK party. And then Julius had the following to say: this is not a collapse of the Economic Freedom Fighters. This is a testing moment. A 10-year-old movement has never gone through this. The EFF will have to pass this testing moment or die. Ooh, let me hand this leaf to Juju. I want to hand this leaf of solidarity, peace, and love to Julius Malema, my brother from another mother. Juju, I empathize with you. And like you, I'll miss Floyd Shivambu. And like the poor go-go's and pensioners who lost their life savings in the VBS scandal, I too am crying at this moment. And I'm wondering if Shivambu's turned state's evidence on you. Yes, Floyd Shivambu turned state's evidence. Has he been given money from the likes of the Oppenheimers and the Rothschilds? He said, this is not the end. It's the beginning of a journey because we've turned 10 years old. You can rest assured that we're not going to be hurling insults at each other. Yeah, because he'll turn state's evidence on you. You're not going to be hurling any insults, you're right. Oh my goodness, Juju, you are in trouble. The EFF is in terminal decline, ladies and gentlemen. They reached apogee in 2019, as I predicted, and now they are declining. And do you know who's getting even? I dare you to hear this. I can't wait for those journalists in South Africa who actually watch my program but never comment, but we know they're here, who will go and take what I've gave in my analysis this morning, watch for it to appear in either News 24 or IOL or amongst other YouTube commenters. You watch when I said this is the revenge of Jacob Zuma, who has not forgotten like an elephant how Julius Malema undermined his presidency over state capture. Yeah, remember that? The revenge of Zuma is the ultimate politician. This guy is the ultimate chess player, Jacob Zuma. They all take him for a fool, a buffoon, an idiot. He says stupid things like, oh, I didn't, no chance of getting HIV. I took a shower, washed my schwanz. Yes, that's right. So I couldn't have got it from the daughter of my comrade whom I slept with, and she wasn't too happy with the sex. I'll leave it at that. I won't accuse him of rape because the court found him not guilty. But yeah, the guy looks like a buffoon. He's not a buffoon. He might be the sharpest and smartest politician in all of South Africa. Think about it. He was the leader of the intelligence for MK. Right. Well, folks, apparently the Good Party has ditched the African National Congress and the Patriotic Alliance in Tivadaskloof and forming a new coalition with the Democratic Alliance and the Socialist Revolutionary Workers' Party. What did I tell you the DA is? They're not a conservative party. They're certainly not the offspring of apartheid. They're not evil people, but they're also not committed conservatives. They are forming a coalition with the the Good Party, and the Socialist Revolutionary Workers' Party in Tivadaskloof. Yep, practical decisions, practicality. You do what's practical, you don't do what's right. Sometimes being practical is right. Well, good news for South Africa. There are signs of stability coming from this government of national unity, which is really just a grand coalition masquerading as a government of national unity. But according to Financial Times, the coalition's relatively smooth start has been raising hopes that the two main parties can work together in the longer term. Well, I think they can work together. But I still think the ANC is a kleptocracy, and they'll continue to steal, and they've retained all of the clusters that are necessary to rule. They retain intelligence, SAPS, SANDF. Now we got more noises. What's going on here? Banging going on, not just a building. All right, so yeah, they retain the security cluster, retain all the key things like state enterprises, which has been moved up to the presidency. They've retained all that. So the DA are just coattail riders here, and they will make a positive impact, I believe, in places like human settlements and also in the home affairs, things like that. Maybe even agriculture, which John Steenhuisen. But they are not going to change the character and nature of the ANC. They will work with them because both parties on the political spectrum, this is the middle, this is the left, this is the right. The ANC and the DA are not over here, they're not here, they're not here, they're not in the center, they're not here. Here comes the DA right here, and here is the ANC way over here. So both are left of center, and they can work together. But in the long run, the ANC is going to be the winner here because they're getting away with everything. I'm actually quite surprised by how well it's going, said John Steenhuisen, leader of the Democratic Alliance, who joined this coalition after the general elections. He said, I thought there'd be a lot more pitfalls. I don't think so. You're happy to slide into government, and it's working for you. Do you know Mike Flynn? I do not know Mike Flynn. Crossed paths with him a couple times, but I don't know him. The South African government has dropped charges against 95 Libyans who were arrested at an illegal military camp, which some people say is legal. Officials in South Africa say prosecutors have withdrawn charges against 95 Libyan nationals who were arrested at an alleged illegal military training camp in Mpumalanga a few weeks ago. Police allege that the men who entered the country on study visas were receiving military training at the camp, where firearms and ammunition were recovered during a widely publicized police raid. During their initial appearances in court, the accused said they were receiving security training at the camp. There was insufficient evidence to prosecute the men, according to the National Prosecuting Authority. The only charge that was brought to the NPA was that of contravention of the Immigration Act against 95 Libyans nationals, said NPA spokesperson Monica Yuswa. Now, they were charged only with violating the country's immigration laws, and their lawyer told reporters after the charges were withdrawn today that they expected them to be deported back to Libya within the next 48 hours. The men have now been handed over to immigration officials and insisted through their lawyers that they were in South Africa for security training. But that smells like bullshit. Well, Chidima Adesina has decided to participate in Miss Universe Nigeria after the Miss South Africa route. Already got head bust, so this is just pushing me off. Have a great day. I have no idea what you're talking about there, Yako. No idea. You talking about the noise in the background? Nothing I can do about it. It's a building. It's just something's wrong. Chidima Adesina, the pageant hopeful who was forced to withdraw from Miss South Africa due to the nationality row, has accepted an invitation to participate in Miss Universe Nigeria. I'm looking forward to participating in Africa's most prestigious beauty pageant, the 23-year-old said in a video posted to her Instagram account with a beaming smile on her face. Yep, so she, of course, was booted after xenophobes said she wasn't South African. A Russian court has jailed a U.S.-Russian dual national for 12 years over a $50 charity. I'm sorry, are you guys having a headache? What's going on here? What's going on here? Ksenia Kavana was jailed for treason over a donation to a U.S. charity that's helping Ukraine. The Russian court today sentenced the U.S.-Russian dual national to 12 years in prison on a treason conviction for allegedly raising money for the Ukrainian military. Now, this is ludicrous. The rights group, the First Department, said that the charges stem from a $51 donation to a U.S. charity that helps Ukraine. Russia's Federal Security Service said she proactively collected money in the interest of one of the Ukrainian organizations, which was subsequently used to purchase tactical medical supplies, equipment, weapons, and ammunition for the Ukrainian armed forces. Now, that's just bullshit. Oh, okay, I thought I was giving him a headache. Thank you for that. They purchased tactical medical supplies, equipment, weapons, and ammunition. What did they get for $51? Have you guys heard of inflation? She's Nigerian and she's representing her country's patriotic sound voice. No, she's not Nigerian, LL Entertainment. She's stateless. And under South African law, she cannot be stateless until she is assigned to another state. So she is South African until and if someone challenges her nationality in South African court. She is not allowed to be stateless under South African law. She was born in South Africa, and even though she does not meet the standards, if in fact her mother is actually a Mozambican national, she is a South African national unless and until South Africa strips her of her citizenship, which must be done in accordance with the law, and she must have a state to fall back on. If Nigeria accepts her as a national and South Africa strips her nationality, then she's no longer South African. At the moment, legally, she's a South African, so you are wrong, LL Entertainment. You are quite wrong in your assessment there. I don't know why people are so xenophobic about this young lady. Right. Anyway, so $51. I mean, that's a trip to Five Guys. That's 2 trips to McDonald's, $51. And they're claiming that she gave material support to Ukrainian war effort. What a crock. This is another fascist totalitarian state. And Roman Kabanek goes to Russia and says, oh, it's a great place. No, it's not. It's a dictatorial fascist totalitarian state, as we see here. I mean, seriously, a donation, she's a dual national. That's not a consideration, okay? Throw that out, she's not a consideration. $51 to a humanitarian organization, and that bought weapons and tactical medical supplies, equipment, ammunition. How much ammunition can you get for $51? Seriously. She pled guilty in a closed trial last week. Now, she reportedly obtained U.S. citizenship after marrying an American moving to Los Angeles. I guess she's one of those online brides. She had foolishly returned to Russia to visit her family, and now she'll spend 12 years in a concentration camp in the Gulag, making license plates. Wow. I see a lot of denial. C-suite advisor says business bosses still expect a Trump win. U.S. business leaders are in denial about Kamala Harris's growing lead over Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, according to advisor Tina Fordham. who said today that her clients are still betting big on the former president's return. I see a lot of denial going on in terms of the polls. A Harris victory is definitely not priced in. A lot of Wall Street participants have been really invested in Trump return to the White House. So why are they giving all the money to Kamala Harris if they're invested in Trump? Also, this is not denial of the polls. The people on Wall Street aren't stupid. They're looking at the states that matter. And in 5 of the 7 states, he is still ahead of her, the key states. Nothing wrong with being Nigerian. All you're doing is making it look like a sickness or something. And you throw labels like leftists. Excuse me? What the hell are you talking about? I'm not throwing any labels here. You're making shit up there, LL Entertainment. Are you trolling here? She is a South African by law until she's stripped of that. She was born in South Africa. Of that, there's no question, according to Home Affairs. If she doesn't have a South African parent whom she sprung from, either the father or the mother, then she can be stripped of her South African citizenship, but only after she has another citizenship. South African law does not allow anyone to be stateless. It's illegal. So, and who's saying there's anything wrong with being Nigerian? Where are you making that shit up? I didn't say anything wrong about Nigerian. What kind of nonsense is that? You're the one constantly attacking her about being Nigerian. You keep saying she's Nigerian. You're implying that that's bad. I've never said that once. That's a lie. That's another lie. Never once said there's anything wrong with being Nigerian. Where would you get that from? You keep calling her a Nigerian and she's not. Either you're being dishonest or you're being xenophobic. You said it in previous streams, LL Entertainment. In previous streams, you said, no, she's a Nigerian. She's not South African. You said it before. I didn't make that up. You did. Columbia University president has resigned over Gaza protest turmoil. Another one bites the dust, folks. Another Ivy League elite bites the dust. And this is another one. It's not even American. Columbia University president Manoush Shafik has resigned from position 4 months after the campus was rocked by protest over the conflict in Gaza. Ms. Shafik's resignation comes only a year after she took the position at the private Ivy League University in New York City, and just a few weeks before the autumn semester is due to begin. Just a day or 2 days before the law school is set to begin, because they begin early. Ms. Shafik is now the 3rd president of an Ivy League university to resign over handling over Gaza war protests. Hurricane Ernesto is targeting Bermuda, folks, and it could brush the Atlantic provinces of Canada. So that hurricane is still going. We are in hurricane season, folks, which really begins August and runs through October in the Caribbean. The White House claims it struck a deal to cut prices of popular Medicare drugs that cost $50 billion a year. The Biden administration said today that drug price negotiations will knock hundreds of dollars, in some cases thousands, off the list prices of 10 of Medicare's most popular and costliest drugs. The discounts agreed to after months of negotiations with drug manufacturers range between 38 and 79% of the medication's list price, which is the cost of medication before discounts or rebates are applied, not the price people actually pay for the prescriptions. Medicare spent $50 billion covering these drugs last year, and taxpayers expect to save $6 billion on the new prices, which will not go into effect until 2026. But now, see, that's bullshit. We're not going to save anything in these medications. The taxpayers paying less because Medicare is capping the cost based on what they've twisted the arm like thugs in a protection racketeering racket against the drug companies. They're forcing the prices lower, and it'll just mean that those who pay their insurance not through Medicare will have to pay more for the drugs in order for them to make up the loss of revenue. So we're not saving anything. This is all just bullshit. They're going to raise their prices for other people. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Are you leaving, Erica? So, older adults could save as much as $1.5 billion in total on medications and out-of-pocket costs. Administration officials released few details about how they arrived at these calculations. In other words, they just made this stuff up. They made it up. The new negotiated prices will impact the price of drugs used by millions of older Americans to help manage diabetes, blood cancers, and prevent heart failure or blood clots. The drugs include blood thinners Xarelto and Eliquis, and diabetes drugs Jardiance and Juvenia. Hey folks, multiple people have now been charged in connection with the overdose death last year of actor Matthew Perry from Friends. At least one individual was arrested in Southern California today in connection with the death of Perry, which was attributed to the effects of ketamine. Multiple people have been charged in connection with his accidental overdose, according to sources. Matthew Perry, 54, was found face down in a heated end of a pool at his Pacific Palisades home on October 28, 2023. Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office attributed his death to the acute effects of ketamine, an anesthetic with psychedelic properties used to tranquilize horses. Federal prosecutors are expected to unseal an indictment later today detailing the allegations against that individual and the others. And we have a recap of NASA's briefing last night about the astronauts who are stuck in space. NASA has wrapped up its press conference on Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, the two astronauts who are currently trapped on the International Space Station. Both astronauts are doing great and keeping busy on ISS, watching reruns of Big Bang Theory, I imagine. NASA officials say that as veterans, they are mentally and physically prepared for unexpected turns on a space mission. Veterans of what? Space or military? Discussions are now being had on whether the crew can return on a Boeing Starliner, the spacecraft that they used to get there, or would they have to return on a SpaceX vehicle. But there's a problem with the SpaceX vehicle. There's a problem with that. The two could remain up there for 8 months if they have to wait for a SpaceX flight. One issue is the spacesuits that they have. They're traveling wearing a suit for the Starliner craft. Those suits are not fit for use on a SpaceX flight, and they would have to return unsuited. Now, that's nonsense. Why would they have to return unsuited? Why can't SpaceX just put a couple suits in the craft, set it up at the International Space Station, they open the door, put the SpaceX suits on, and voila, bam, man, thank you. Bob's your uncle. Come on. Yep. NASA says it still has confidence in the Starliner craft, despite hydrogen and fluid leaks, and that it could be used to return home in case of an emergency. A decision will be made on the astronauts' return date by the end of August, but there's no sharp cutoff date. Well, you know, they left dogs up there in the 1950s. All right, let me get back to the chat here and see what's going on. Right, 6:30. Okay. If it's a government or a politician, it's all BS. Yeah, still pinned on Elon Musk account. What's still pinned? Here in South Africa, if you pay cash for meds, it's way cheaper than it would be on your medical aid savings. Okay. Okay, 4 wards for ANC. They still won. DA were 40. What are you talking about there? What's going on there, Patrick? I missed something. Not sure what that's all about. All right, lots of people left. Is it the noise, or you don't want to hear the rest of the news? Anyway, Floyd Shivambu leaving the EFF. So sad. Such a tragedy. Horrible. Poor Floyd Shivambu. The EFF, it's just falling apart. I don't know what to do. What will I do? Who will I vote for? Oh my goodness. Oh, our great revolutionary leaders, Floyd and Julius. And it's just falling apart. It's all falling apart. You know, Chinua Achebe wrote a book called Things Fall Apart a long time ago, back in 1970, I think it was. A Nigerian writer. Fantastic writer, by the way. Election results for today. Oh, okay, thanks. I didn't see that. Okay, so Kokuma, 53%, but they still won, but they got 45%. DA were 40%. PA got 32. Well, wait a second. That's 80. That isn't right. Oh, the DA dropped from 40 to 21. Okay, gotcha. 45, 60, 70, 89. Okay, the PA are the ones who really won there. Okay, thanks. That makes sense. So the DA and the ANC dropped, but the DA dropped a ton. Wow, where is Kukama at? Is that in the Western Cape? It's not in the Western Cape. So the ANC dropped from 53 to 45. They lost 8%. The DA lost 19%, and the PA got 32%. Wow, and there were 3 wards in the Transkei and Limpopo. Okay, wow, that's fascinating. Val says, what noise? That annoying noise in the background, that's why I got my earpiece in, because I can't stand it. It's driving me nuts. It's really loud. Open up the dirty window. Release your inhibitions. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can do it for you. No one else can feel the rain. My gut is telling me this whole Shivambu thing is just a separate EFF from DBS scandal. Maybe. We'll see what's going on there. LL says PA sneaked in. Yeah, well, Patriotic Alliance did very well. They got 32% in that by-election. So we're talking about by-elections. Is that what you guys talking about? Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, no, that's incredible. That's impressive on their part if they did it. If they did that, that's really impressive. By the way, I'm not sure. Maybe tonight. I know I've been talking about doing a live stream on Kick. Maybe I'll do it tonight. This is not ideal time for South Africans, but I mean, I'm still consulting to do today. I wasn't sure if I could do the broadcast tomorrow for the Bulls, but it looks like it might work out, and I may be able to do that. If not, I'll have rugby on Saturday, starting at 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh, boy, that's just brutal. because they'll be in Perth this time, so it's an unfavorable start time for me. Anyway, so I'll be covering that. Shivambu has been sent in to spy. No, I think that the EFF is imploding. Jay-Z's not that dumb. He knows more about Shivambu than Shivambu knows about him. How's it? Long time, brother. Who's this? Drew. Oh, you're talking to Hendo. Okay. Oh, say hi to Hendo. That's cool. Yeah. Anyway, so the EU disavowing Thierry Bretton. I mean, the guy went off the reservation. I mean, this is really bad press for the European Union, interfering in U.S. elections. I mean, that's what Thierry Bretton is doing, sending a threatening letter. Rain is predicted in Perth. Okay, that's good to know. Thanks, Garrett. Sending a threatening letter, posting it on Twitter, threatening a major international business because of something that had not even occurred. I mean, it wasn't like he put the letter up after Trump appeared and then claimed he told lies. This was a preemptory strike against Twitter, against X, by Thierry Bretton, a scumbag leftist political commissar from the European Union. And it just exposes just how out of control the European Union is. They think, and the Brits too, think they have sovereignty over countries that don't fall in the EU. You're wrong. You're wrong. You know what this is, folks? And have you heard anyone say this? You know what this is? This is the EU empire trying to impose its will on Africa, on North America, on the world. The EU empire. That's what it is. They have remade the European colonial era. This is, what's about neocolonialism? This is neocolonialism. When a country interferes in your domestic affairs. We're accused of that all the time. Overthrowing, you know, the government in Iran in the 1950s to let the Shah come to power. Smee says, have you heard of Chris Hyland? I think he's retired Air Force pilot and has a YouTube channel called Courageous Media. Shares many views, maybe you can do it, but never heard of Chris Hyland. Send me a note, Smee. Never heard of him. I'm sure he's not Shadow Band. Must be nice. Is that G.I. Jane in the background? What are you talking about? There's nobody in the background. Nobody in the background. That bugs. Oh, there's a ladybug. Hey, cool. A ladybug. Come here. Come on. Oh, she got away from me. I like ladybugs. I haven't seen a ladybug in ages. Where'd she go? She fell down. I was going to show you the ladybug. I like ladybugs. They're nice little creatures. Unlike that thing that was bugging me yesterday. It was driving me nuts, but ladybugs are nice. Yeah. I know. I don't know who that guy is. Never heard of him. YouTube has tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of content creators. And probably a few tens of millions are actively busy doing content all the time. I'm one of them. But I'm shadow banned, so you know, I'm consigned to the gulag. But anyway, not really the gulag, more like consigned to the Namib out in the desert. So anyway, see some here. Yeah, ladybugs are awesome. They're pretty cool. They don't bother anybody. They get that little shell and they lift it up to fly. Anyway, but I hadn't seen one in ages. That's another thing I noticed here in Pennsylvania. When I was a kid, I don't remember, but when I lived in Ohio, we had birds all the time. All kinds. Blue jays, cardinals, barn swallows. I also see an osprey occasionally, or a falcon, or a hawk. All kinds of birds. And they're just everywhere all the time. Robins, Baltimore Orioles, we even had those up there. Here, I see robins, I see what look like swallows, rarely, but occasionally I see a cardinal, and I've never seen a blue jay here. And I don't see that many birds. Cicadas, John Deere, just background noise. Yeah, no, it's not cicadas. It's not cicada season here. It's just crickets and grasshoppers in the background, and there's a lot of them. But it does sound like cicadas, doesn't it? It really does, but it's not cicadas. But I tell you, I remember the first time I ever saw cicadas was in high school when I was in Ohio. They have 17-year cycles. Most of them, some have 15-year cycles, 14. Most are 17, and the broods wake up. And there were so many of them, so many. Of course, I lived in a farm that hadn't been developed, you know, so the soil was left alone. You love the smaller things in life, such as, oh, ladybugs. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha, Ella. Yeah, no, the cicadas were crazy. Now, we had chickens, and I noticed something when I went to feed the chickens every morning when the cicadas came out. They only came out for like 3 weeks or something like that. But I noticed after a couple of days that there were no cicadas walking around in the chicken yard where they've got our chicken wire in the fence. They come out of the hen house, they walk down the ramp, and they walk all around. There were 0 cicadas there. And I'm like, They're everywhere else. They're laying in the car. They're on our porch. They jump on you. They're everywhere. Millions of them. And I'm like, okay, that can only mean one thing. They're afraid of chickens, or the chickens ate them. So I scooped up some cicadas, I threw them into the chicken pen. Oh my gosh. Chickens running around eating those things. So from then on, I spent the next 3 weeks just capturing cicadas and tossing them to the chickens. How evil is that? All the chickens loved it, man. They love cicadas. Ooh, they were tasty. They ate so many cicadas. I think our fryers got plump during that time. That was an exciting time. Never forget that. I'll never forget that experience. We had cicadas here a couple years ago. I wasn't really impressed. The Taliban just humiliated Biden and Harris. I think that's because they had a big military parade. Son base drive crazy. Excellent day. Guards against. Okay, well, I don't know about that, but sonbrillikis. I'm gonna put my sonbrillikis on. I do it also they style. Sonbrillikis. That's a funny song. Yeah, there's my sonbrillikis. Trout. My boys love looking for cicadas. You got cicadas out right now? Yeah, now see, I lived on a farm. Nice yellow yolks from the chickens during. Yep, they sure were. They sure were. Nice big yolks and yellow yolks. So, one of the things I learned when I was a kid, when I was a farmer, we used to buy the ground up oyster shells. People are like, why do you have oyster shells? Well, you have to have something for the chickens to make the eggs. Their bodies process it, and that's how they make the eggs. They eat that stuff. If they're in the wild, they eat little stones, pebbles. Zonbrillikis. Yep, Pendo. Yeah, also about style. Anyway, but yeah, no, that's something I learned as a kid too. So we could bags that from the feed mill, and then sprinkle that around, and the hens would eat that. The roosters wouldn't, but the hens would eat it, and that's how they made the eggs. Yeah, I wonder how that happens. Misty says, what is this? Oh, she's saying Tevlik Atsipika. That looks like Danish. Is that Danish, Akon? That's not Dutch. That looks like Danish. Are you writing in Danish or Swedish? Yeah, the calcium in the shells, correct, Garrett. That's what they use to process to make the eggs. Yeah, so we'd feed that to them. Yeah, big market for that stuff. Anyway, yeah. That's funny because I don't recall ever having any zonbrillikis when I was a kid. Maybe I had a couple cheap pair, but basically just squinted all the time. Probably explains why I've got this forehead, those lines. So I squinted the whole time I was a child. Yep. Oyster shells, calcium. Yep, calcium in the shells. You guys are all saying it. Look at this. All my farming experts have jumped into the conversation here. Yeah. Anyway, interesting day with Floyd Shivambu resigning and joining the MK party, leaving EFF, and poor Jewish Malema distraught, bummed out. And then, of course, the European Union just, smacking down, giving a PK to Thierry Bretton. Thierry Bretton is a very dangerous bureaucrat, a typical leftist European Union scumbag politician. Yep. Lock who up? What's the Colonel's email again? I'll send him my own. Yeah. Well, what you do is go to, I think Hendo will probably put it, it's all about Africa 2021 at Gmail. Yep. James Bowie, welcome to you. Sounds like Chris is running steam off. Yeah, that's right. That's how I'm staying awake. I've just got a generator over here. It's a steam production. By the way, does anybody know what S and MV stand for when it comes to ships? Let me do a poll. That's just a question I thought about because we see these all the time. Sorry to hear that, Dylan. Your glasses are broken. There it is right there. I had to put the email address up. So, does anybody know why you have a ship called SS and why you have ships called MV? Anybody want to know? Take a guess? I'll just give you a second to mull that one over as the text comes through. Yeah, let me know what you think, if you know the answer to that. Somebody's got to know the answer to it. Okay, one correct answer. Grasshopper, not quite correct. I always thought it was that too, but it's not that. Okay. Tion has Google. Yeah, Pecan Eggman got it correct. SS stands for steamship. Steamship. And MV doesn't stand for maritime vessel. I thought it did. It stands for motor vessel. Yep. Motor vessel. Yep. Yep. Exactly. SAS Tafel. Well, SAS is different. That's the country designation. But the ship itself, like a commercial ship, is going to be SS for steamship. And then you have MV for motor vehicle. Yep, there you go. So isn't that interesting? I've decided I'm going to do a new segment. I'm not going to get any traction, but as a historian, I think I owe it. I'm going to start doing segments called Forgotten History and talk about things that really aren't talked about, that people don't know about. Now, I'm going to find that when I do these videos that some of my audience do know these things, but most people won't know this. So I've a couple things I've been thinking about lately I'm going to do, and I'm really looking forward to it, calling Forgotten History, or maybe Abandoned History. That might be a better term. Which one do you guys like better, Forgotten History or Abandoned History? Yeah, Forgotten History. Yeah, so there'll be some things I'll talk about in historical context. In fact, one of them I've already come up with, two of them have to do with East Africa and the Germans, and one is tied to the First World War, and then also some for South Africa. I've got a few for South Africa I want to talk about things that people just really don't know very well. So, yep. Anyway, so you guys tell me what you think. Do you like Forgotten History or Abandoned History? I like both. Abandoned history implies that it was forgotten intentionally, which won't always be the case. Some things are just forgotten because people, forgotten history. Okay, maybe that's better, Erica. Forgotten history. Yep, because for history you have to remember, right? That's the whole point. So I think forgotten history is a good segment. Yep, so that'll be my segment, Forgotten History. Looking so good. What's this? Leah Minar. You're relaxing, that's good to hear. I love forgotten history, more like covered up history. Yeah. That's right, Drew. Covered up, get naughty corner. Okay. I think there's a three-part here: history, abandoned history, and maybe a mix of both, where we abandoned it because it was something too dangerous, something that could be amazing. Okay, Tian, I'll think about that. That's a good idea. Destroyed history. Nah, we don't want that. Cover up history now. And forgotten history, abandoned history. Well, I'll do that. Mexico's fighting now. What are you talking about? Sedgefield. You're killing me with that stuff. But the two big stories we talked about today, we've already hit on, and that's, of course, the one with Floyd Shivambu. That's huge. That's seismic. What's going to happen with the EFF? I think the EFF is cratering. And we'll see just how much EFF is cratering when we see how many members of the EFF jump ship. Now, the people who've left cannot go into another parliamentary position unless it's given to them by a party they join. So, for instance, Floyd Shivambu leaving, he won't stay a member of Parliament. And see, that's the interesting thing, because they're picked by the party. If the voters had chosen him, he could leave the EFF and still be in Parliament. So that payday goes away. You know he's not going to walk away with no payday, so he's getting money from somewhere. And my guess is it's coming from big donors that are backing the MK party to cause chaos with the ANC. So he's going to make money. Now, he says he wasn't promised any position. So the EFF has 39 members of Parliament. They've lost 2 today. Shivambu and the other one, and who broke away. What's that guy's name? Hang on a second. It's Wanele Manyi. Wanele Manyi has also left, so that takes them to 37. But they don't lose those positions. They'll have to nominate someone else to fill the positions, which they'll do. And those guys will no longer have a job unless they join a party which bumps an existing member and puts them on the list. I learned about South Africa's concentration camps when I started working, not at school. Oh, that's a shame, Marilyn. Floyd got his wings clipped, the juju wound his neck, and very plump. History is written by the winners. That's true. Sometimes the losers write stuff too. History must be cold. People need to learn about the mud floods. My Carl Nyhorse is batting with the stirrups, yeah. Yeah, so, anyway, got a little bit distracted by the chat there. Don't worry about the autocorrect. It does kind of suck. Causes problems. 100 people currently here, 81 likes. It is a glorious, gorgeous day. What a great day to be alive, folks. Hey, sometimes you just got to be grateful for being around. So, yes, I have a pulse. I have a heartbeat. Is that where my heart is? Is it over here? No, it's over here. I have a heartbeat, I have a pulse. I'm alive. Sometimes you just got to smell the roses and be grateful that life is here. Because we all come, we all go. Make the most of your time on the planet is what I always say, and that's what I'm trying to do, make the most of it. So, you know, I look back at all these people who've passed recently, the past couple years, iconic names, people that, you know, I mean, it's just, you just names you grew up with, celebrities, politicians, you know, people all over the world. It's fascinating. I was looking, you know how you do 6 degrees of separation? I was looking at something to do with East Africa, and I wound up somehow going from this to that to this to that to this to that, and I wound up looking at the Tanzanians because I wanted to look at Idi Amin. So I looked at Idi Amin because I was looking at, actually it all started with the killing fields in Pol Pot in Cambodia, and then from that I was looking at other despots, and so I went from Pol Pot to Idi Amin. And Idi Amin, I looked to the conflict that he initiated with the Tanzanians. And I was watching that. Of course, the PLO sent idiots down there to be part of it, which is pretty funny. They got wiped out. But and the Libyans did the same thing. So the Libyans ran like little bitches, and the PLO actually fought, but they got shellacked. So I was reading that, and I looked at the leadership of the Ugandans, all of whom have passed away. They're all dead. Most of them died in the 1990s, or one in early 2000s. And I looked at the leadership of the Tanzanian military. And most of them are dead except the general who was in charge of the operation. He is 104 years old. 104 years old. Talk about a long life and an impressive lifespan for an African in East Africa. 104 years old. Now, I double-checked to make sure it was true, and I confirmed that in 2020, people are still talking to him, still recording, but they claim he's still alive at 104 years of age. That's incredible. This guy fought the battle, defeated the Ugandans in what was that? 96 before that, when they got rid of Idi Amin. But anyway, unbelievable. Yeah, it was 86. Yeah. So he's 104 years old. Wow. 100. Think about that, folks. That means he was born in 1920. 1920. Served in the King's African Rifles in World War II. He's badass. You're right about that. No doubt about it, Nick. Oh, finally it stopped. Good God, that was horrible. Finally it stopped. Yeah, wow, it's right, Dave. It's unbelievable. 104 years old, a retired former commander of the Tanzanian Defense Force. Now, his intelligence officer was killed, probably assassinated, otherwise he'd still be around. But wow. And also, you know, I was looking at and all that, and it reminded me, going back to the Pol Pot and the Cambodia and the horrible things they did there, the actor who played in the movie The Killing Fields, where he played the doctor who had survived the killing fields by pretending to be illiterate, managed to survive the Khmer Rouge until the Vietnamese overran them, and then he managed to flee to Thailand and then eventually to the States. The guy never acted before, played that role in the killing fields with Sam Waterston, who played Sidney Schamberg, the journalist who fled Cambodia and left his friend behind. Had no choice, but they reunited. So, and then Schamberg wrote The Killing Fields. It was adapted into a film. That actor was murdered in 1995 in Los Angeles. What a horrible thing. He was shot dead. They claim it was a robbery, but it wasn't a robbery. It was obviously an assassination from Pol Pot and his crew sent someone to kill him. Yeah, what a sad story. He survived the killing fields only to be murdered in Los Angeles years later, and he died at the age of 55. That's really sad. Really sad. But anyway, yeah, the world's a nasty place. So much different. Yeah, it's huge without that noise, isn't it? Eric is correct. We'll all be dead in 100 years. Japanese dude made it to 110. Yep. Did Sarah once again sign big contracts? I have no idea if he did. Stuck with dinner, says Charles. A great mutton. Oh, I don't eat mutton, man. You guys can have your sheep. You can have your sheep. That's not breaking news, Hendo. Did you come in late? I already covered that. That was a story I covered, one of the late stories. Some of us may still be alive in 50 years. Well, I'll take that bet. I hope to be alive in 50 years. That'd be pretty cool. By then, we will have developed ways to reverse the telomeres degrading, and then your skin will be rejuvenated, the wrinkles go away, the strength and dexterity will come back, and you'll be running the Olympics at the age of 90. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Got to hang around long enough. Just like Sheldon on Big Bang Theory, he's going to miss the singularity by just that much. Anyway, well, he wants to put his consciousness into a machine, so we'll see. They live long in Asia. People in their 90s ride their bicycles to shop area. Well, in Japan, that's pretty common, especially among the Ainu. The Ainu live very long. Yeah, boy. Just popped you an email. If you could have him as guest speaker. I'll take a look into it. A couple other people want to have as guest speakers, too. It'd be nice if people start getting me on their program. I'm a forgotten man here. The Gareth Cliff show, whatever they're calling that now. the new network, they reached out to me, but we're going to wait until probably October before I go back on. So it'll be a while before I go back on there. By the way, the women's, gosh bless it, the women's 15 competition is coming up, and it'll decide the final 2 competitors for the Women's World Cup in England next year. So 14 of the 16 teams in the tournament have been selected already. 2 more qualifiers will be, so there's women's 15, Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Group 1 will be competing in Vancouver and Surrey out in British Columbia. That's in late September into October, begins like 27th September. That's Group 1. USA and New Zealand are in that group, along with some other teams, of course. Then Group 2 is in Cape Town at Athlon and at DHL Greenpoint Stadium. Women's rugby, that's 3 weeks, 27 September through 12 October. Coming up, and that will include the Lady Springboks as well as the Black Ferns are here. Australia, the Wallaroos will be there. So that should be interesting. I'd love to come to Cape Town for that for a couple of weeks. I have to see if I've got the money and the ability to do it. It would be awesome to be back down there. But I would not be running all over the country like I normally do if I make that trip to Cape Town. So just saying. And the third group is in Dubai. I'm not going to Dubai. It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. Plus, that's also the lower tier teams like Madagascar that are trying to qualify for the Women's World Cup. I'd love to see a team like Madagascar qualify. That'd be pretty awesome to see that team make it into the Women's World Cup next year. I've been to the Women's World Cup twice in Paris and again in England. I was supposed to go, or in Ireland, excuse me, supposed to go to the Women's World Cup in New Zealand, but the Cowards delayed it a year, and then it conflicted. That's the word I'm looking for. It conflicted with my other trips, because last year I had tickets for the Rugby League World Cup, a bunch of tickets, and I had tickets for the Sevens World Cup, which was in Cape Town. And then the Women's World Cup, I couldn't do all 3 trips. That's just impossible. That's way too much money. Plus, I don't get that many people watching my content on Rugby Ascendant, so hardly worth the effort and time. But anyway, yeah, so the Women's 15, which is becoming a bit of an interesting program. Time comes to life, any nation where there remain only 2 choices, said Floyd Shivambu. Floyd Shivambu is on Twitter. He just posted something on Twitter. I don't know what that was about. If I'm at home, I could see it, but on here, I don't have the ability to see that. So anyway, yeah, that's coming up. That tournament is here. And, you know, here's the other thing. When does the URC start? September or October? Curry Cup will probably be over by then. Yeah, it will be over by then. So I'm not sure if there'll be games to go to other than that. Yeah, that's right. Floyd Shivambu's I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Leaving. Anyway, yeah, that was a cool song. Remember that from when I was a kid. All right, fans, it's time for Zonbrellikis. I like these. These are from Timberland. Yeah, Timberland's Zonbrellikis. Everything is yellow now. Like I've got jaundice. My eyes have jaundice. Okay, I can't read your chat if I do that, so I have to come back. No Zonbrellikis. I finally made the jump. I'm one of your platoon leaders now. Proud to support. Sorry it took so long. Tian, thank you so much for that. Thank you for joining at that level. That's awesome. Welcome to the team. It didn't come up on here because I'm on my mobile and I'm not using the streaming software, so my apologies. Thank you, Tian. Buy a donkey. Buy a donkey. You know, or a quagga if you can find one. Apparently they're extinct. Soldier Fuel. It looks like one of those energy drinks. Somebody painted their vehicle. It says Soldier. I'm leaving on a stolen bank. I'm leaving with the money I took from the Go-Go's. Oh my goodness. When is a wind noise through microphones going to be bad? What? Wind noise? What are you talking about, Venom Peters? Oh, you're Jack Russell. That's a dog. Okay. Well, there's no wind noise now. The wind is dead. So the air's a little stagnant right now here. 100 people watching the program. 89 likes. Come on. Help a brother out. Give me 11 more likes. Come on. Give it up. Give it up. If you don't give me the likes, I'm going to start singing. Africa. Anyway, I'll stop there. Time for the Zonbrellikis. Back on. It's weird. It's a black car with yellow letters all the way blazing all the way across the vehicle. An SUV says Soldier Fuel. I'm guessing it's an energy drink. I've never heard of it before. I'm going to ask that lady what's going on. Here comes somebody in a very small car. They're all coming back from their lunch now. It means my lunch is probably close to being over. Anyway, Really, I can't see the text when I put the zone keys on. Just can't see it. Very good camera. Y'all, this is fantastic. And this is the Samsung S21 Ultra. Now, this phone, when it came out, was selling for $1,800. I bought it through my provider. I paid $1,200, and I didn't pay it. I just paid, $30 a month until it was paid off, or something like that. I've taken over 500,000 photographs, probably 600,000 photographs, and probably done 30,000 videos, if not more. Play Secret Asian Man. Yeah, no, it is an incredible camera, and it's also very good at picking up sound. And I actually don't need, I've got the Bluetooth on for improved sound quality, but with no wind, I could actually not have that. But putting these on also, they're kind of noise reduction. That way somebody's Jack Russell won't be bothered. It reduces the noise a little bit. But this thing is great. Normally I don't put a headpiece in if it's a quiet place when I interview people using the phone. This is the one I've been using for remote interviews for a long time. This phone is the best device I've ever owned. It's better, almost better than almost any car I've ever had. It's just been that reliable. Now watch it start crapping out and not work anymore. All right, we just hit 100 likes. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, anyway, but no, it's a fantastic phone, but it's the Ultra. So there's a distinction between the S21 and the S21. Yes, I missed your last comment. Trump is up in a poll. Okay. What did Hendo say last? Dodgy Deutschrapping. Oh, you want me to do that? Was kommt denn da von Wusterkak aus Frankfurt, Darmstadt, Offenbach? Was tut dem Bayern los, Wiesbaden los, so gnadenlos? Erbarmen, zu spät, die Herzokomma. Or we could do a little karaoke with Klaus Lager. Tausendmal berührt, tausendmal ist nichts passiert. 1001 Nacht, wir haben Zoom gemacht. Yeah, it's long before Zoom calls. 15.9, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. CVO to me is a naval term. What does that mean? He said no. What phone is that? The S21, Samsung S21 Ultra. Now, the reason I bought the Ultra is because this one does a camera-in-camera view. Now, I can't do it on YouTube because YouTube doesn't support that, but I can record where the audience is seeing one thing, they're seeing with a better camera, they're seeing people out that way, and then I appear up here and I can reverse it. So it's fantastic for interviews. It's really cool. New team nerves. Okay. South Africa versus Australia. You got that backwards. It's Australia versus South Africa because they're in Perth. Yeah, Garrett loves the dodgy Deutschrap. Yep. I really miss Falco. Man, what a legend. What a legend. What a horrible way to die, too. He turned his little, I think it's Suzuki, whatever, a little tiny SUV, turned and ran right into a bus in Costa Rica. Oof, died at the age of 40. He was a troubled guy, though. He couldn't handle the fame, had some issues. I think he might even had some addiction issues. Yeah, Chris Wolfgang. Yeah. Anyway, no, it's kind of sad, but Falco was amazing. Falco, he's the original rapper, man. He's the original European rapper. He's the first rapper of any note in Europe. Yep. He was really good. Really loved his music. It's a shame that he went. He was actually, I think, kind of almost in his prime when he died. So 2 reps was the score given. Don't be pedantic. You're retired. Besides, more South African fans are staying in Australia. I'll take that bet because census figures are lying for South Africa. They claim there's only 15,000. Census figures for Australia lie. They claim there's only 15,000 South Africans in Perth. I find that hard to believe. My expectation is at least 40 to 50,000 South Africans living in the Perth area. I don't know. Oh, you guys are giving scores. That's what your score is 15.9. Okay. All right. Got it. I didn't know what the 15.9 was. I mean, that's a code. That's a code. Yeah, so I get where you're coming from now. I didn't get that initially. Now I get it. Hey, we're back up to 100. Thanks for tuning in, folks, on a gorgeous Thursday afternoon here in central Pennsylvania. This is Chris, live, talking to you about news and updates and what's going on. And we're really just talking about the Springboks competition this weekend, their match against the Wallabies, whom they destroyed last week. And a lot of changes in the lineup. 80,000, says Arctic. Yeah, like I said, I don't buy the numbers, but the Australians claim there's only 15,000. 69 is code, not 59. It wasn't 59, it was 15-9. 15-9. That's rubbish. Closer to 60. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Any current update on South Africans in London or the whole of UK? Keith, I don't have any new numbers, but the number there that the South African government claims they claim it's only like 180,000 South Africans in the UK. That is no way true. No way true. No way true. There is no way that's true in the UK. There are at least 300,000, if not 400,000 or 500,000 South Africans living in the UK. Yeah, there's no way it's 180,000. That's what the government claims. The numbers are wildly underestimated, or the numbers are way down from what they actually are when they talk about the emigre population of South Africans, because government doesn't want people to know how many people are abroad. There's probably easy 3 million to 5 million South Africans living abroad, many of whom will never come home because of racist laws and legislation. Blacks, even moving out South Africa to places like the UK. Look at Canary Wharf, tons of talented black South Africans working, and Zimbabweans working in Canary Wharf in the finance industry. But if you go to like New Zealand, you go to Auckland, it's full of Afrikaners, white Afrikaners. If you go to Wellington, it's full of colored South Africans. It's something else very interesting. At least it was when I was there in 2011. The numbers can only have increased. But people emigrate all the time. I got an email from AfriForum this morning. I received it in Afrikaans and in English. I'm not a member, but I'm subscribed to their mailing list, so I can keep up on what they're saying and doing. And they have a whole section in there about emigrating and, and culture shock and this, that, and the other. I'm like, why are you telling people about emigrating? You want people to stay in South Africa. I guess they're trying to take care of the emigrate community. 3 hours to London by train. Well, that's because Hendo takes the slow train. It's only 40 minutes by air. That's correct, Charles. All are leaving. First, it was white Afrikaners, many of whom are racist, who left. Then it was white Afrikaners who were marginalized. Then it was colored South Africans and Indian South Africans looking for better opportunities. And then finally, black South Africans also went. No, I'm not going to watch the Dricus fight. I'm not into boxing. I only like to watch genetic males beating up women in Olympic boxing. That's what I like to see. That is sarcasm, for those who don't know that. Art Precision says our children have gone abroad. Yeah, that's the problem. And if you're not reproducing at home, you lose your culture. You lose your culture. It's gone. It's gone. People think they can hold on to it. It's rare. You need to be in a significant enough concentration, and it needs to be important enough to your community that you perpetuate your language and your culture. Look at the Boers who went to Argentina. They're just Argentinians, completely lost down there, mixed in. Interesting thing about the Germans is most places they've gone, they have integrated entirely and abandoned their German traditions after a period of time. In America, since there were so many Germans, that was the largest group that came to America. For a long time, they maintained that because of the density in Philadelphia, in New York, in Baltimore, so many Germans, it was overwhelming. They established breweries, they ran businesses, they were craftsmen, they were farmers, they had German newspapers, people are still speaking German in their communities, in their churches, on the gravestones, all the way up to the 1920s. Everything was in German. But they were bilingual. They're also English speakers. But then they became Americanized completely, and those communities lost that. There is an exception, of course. The Amish and the Mennonites still retain that distinctiveness, but they see themselves less as Germans and more as Amish and Mennonites. But the key cultural trait here is the DNA, and then, of course, also the German language, which they speak, Pennsylvania Dutch, which is not Dutch. It's Deutsch. Yeah, and it's hard to understand. But, so people just lose it. So the Afrikaners who went to Kenya, they're no longer Afrikaners. The Afrikaners who went to Argentina are no longer Afrikaners. Their language is gone, and they speak Spanish, and the ones in Kenya speak English now. And that tie is completely gone. And the people who've gone to England, living all over the UK, will lose that. Their kids won't be Afrikaners. If that's important to you, you got to think about that. Yeah. No, they're not. Have family in Argentina for the last 130 years. They still definitely has Boers. All right, Arctic, who are they and where are they at? Because the vast majority of them have no tie whatsoever. I don't know about South Africans going to Ukraine. That's new to me. I know about South Africans, I know about Zimbabweans going to Georgia and Nigeria and Tanzania, but I don't know about South Africans going to Ukraine. That's a new one to me. I never heard that before. So you're making a blanket statement. Now you're going to say I made a blanket statement, but it's a general statement that they don't know the connection. You're going to be one outlier. My cousin moved to the Netherlands, and they're already becoming, yep, really good though. But I don't see myself leaving Pretoria. Says Tian, yep. Once you can't be Muslim in 2 generations. I don't know about that. Well, things are looking pretty sad there. Did you see the preacher? It sounded like it was in the UK based on accents. The preacher in the UK who was standing on a soapbox I mean, UK is known for this. You got Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park. Anyone can come up and speak. It's perfectly allowed. He wasn't in the street blocking traffic. He wasn't harassing anybody. Standing on a box, prophesizing, preaching the Christian faith. And the cops came up and arrested this man. It clearly looked like he's in his 70s. Wow, you can't. But Muslims are running around all over the UK with pungas and screaming Allah Akbar and threatening people and beating people on the streets, and none of them are being arrested. But a Christian pastor prophesizing in the streets of the UK, it's a crime. How is that a crime? What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on in the UK? That country is gone. Guy who lives in town here applied for Canada, says Val, for a job as an engineer. His application declined because his degree didn't have maths. Well, that sucks. That is why, Colonel, we have to create a fully independent state within our rump of our language, culture, and flesh shall die. Devet, I got where you're coming from that. My dad was English. He's got Afrikaans kids. Well, that's cool, Mark. A lot of Afrikaner farmers went there and to there. I didn't know that, Charles. Ukraine, it's news to me. Well, we're not hearing from them, so maybe they've given up on it. Outrage has Met Police agrees to block roads for Pakistan Independence Day after enforcing Killjoy Euro 24 orders. What? They're blocking. It's not Pakistan. It's the UK. It's like, that drives me nuts. Puerto Rican Day in New York. 500,000 Puerto Ricans marching the streets. Why? If you want to celebrate Puerto Rican Day, go home to Puerto Rico. If you want to celebrate Pakistan National Day, leave London and go to Karachi or Islamabad. Yeah, preaching is considered hate speech. The UK is beyond mental. Yeah, two-tier Kier. That's a great phrase right there, Arjana, if you saw that somewhere, but two-tier Kier, that's what we're going to call him. The United Kingdom is completely gone. It is Orwellian in every sense. And if you say anything, you're a racist. If you say anything, you're a xenophobe. And these days, that makes you a criminal. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable what's happening in the United Kingdom. It is beyond comprehension. It is sick. It is twisted. It is morally bankrupt and simply wrong. It's a trending hashtag. All right, two-tier Kier. All right, thank you for that, RJ. It's a great hashtag. I love it. Two-tier Kier. Unbelievable what's happening to British citizens. I saw a man jailed for 18 months, and he didn't just say anything wrong. Did you guys hear about an American cop who shot a lady in the face after she called them for assistance? They invited themselves in. She said, call me in the name of JC. What's this? I rebuke you. I didn't see that. I saw a cop being prosecuted for shooting a black woman in the face. The colonizers get colonized. Yeah, well, that's what I said. And I predicted that if Rishi Sunak became the prime minister, the headlines in India would say, hey, look, we've conquered the British Empire, which is exactly what's happened. The politicians have betrayed the United Kingdom, and they've allowed the country to be conquered from within, as unconstrained illegal migration into the country with no consequences has undermined the social cohesion, the finances, the welfare of British citizens. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they're doing it in America here. The same path here, except that it's a much more rapid process. In the UK, it's been happening since Schengen was introduced. I know they were not a party to Schengen, but it's been going on since Schengen, because that facilitated criminal alien invaders moving all the way across Europe rather than slipping into Italy on a boat, migrating up, getting to the border with Austria, getting through the mountains into Germany, then getting across. All these border crossings, all these constraints to control this illegal invasion. But now all that's gone. Schengen lets you, once you land, nobody's going to stop you and check you for your papers. You get on a boat, you land in Italy, you're good to go. Unless you commit a crime or someone, they're going to let you go. No one's going to stop you. No border guards, no customs duties, no Zollamt, and you just get all the way up to the English Channel, and then you slip into the UK. It facilitated. So Schengen, even though the United Kingdom was not a party to Schengen, destroyed the United Kingdom. It destroyed the United Kingdom. Germany was destroyed by Schengen and destroyed by the Maastricht Treaty, which undermined the Deutschmark and destroyed it in favor of fiat money in the form of the euro. That's when Germany was lost. And then when Helmut Kohl left, and we had Schröder, who undermined what it meant to be a German, it's all been downhill since then. German girls going to Hallenbad's in one-piece swimming suits being sexually accosted by criminal alien invaders, and then the Bürgermeister of the Dorf telling the parents that it's your fault that your daughter is sexualizing the context. What is she supposed to swim in? A burqa? Yeah, break. And they don't address the criminal actions of the pedophiles who touch these girls. Justin was offered a job in Germany. We're staying here in South Africa for the time being until the immigrant nonsense has died down. Yep. I actually got to reach out to Justin, Erica, about something. I need help with something. Maybe he can help me. Justin is a person I can trust to do this. So I'll reach out to Justin when I get a chance. I need him to do me a favor if he can. Every week there's shenanigans, Hyde Park, and Christians and Muslim immigrants. Yep. Don't hear the insect look cooler. They were loud earlier, but they've calmed down a little bit. I guess it's gotten too warm for them. And also the building was making all this noise earlier. The whole system was bizarre. Morning Shot, is it Byron or Ramon? It's Byron. Ramon has departed Morning Shot. He's no longer with Morning Shot. Yep. There's Byron. Hey Byron, how's it going, man? How's it going? Yep. No, Ramon is not there anymore, so I don't think he uses the account anymore. I think it's just Byron. Yeah, so folks, I'm telling you, let's go over this one. We'll go over the highlights again real quick because people are just tuning in now. So very quickly, Floyd Shivambu, the deputy president of the Economic Clowns, Freedom Fighters, has left the party. He gave a resignation letter, and last night at midnight, apparently, the Economic Freedom Fighters alerted the press. There'll be a press conference today, and a sullen, disconsolate, crushed Julius Malema sat at the press table as Floyd Shivambu read his letter, and he said that this wasn't a vote of no confidence. Let me read his quote exactly to you. I'm going to read this one more time. So he said, I believe the aspirations and vision contained in the organizational redesign document of the EFF, what kind of gobbledygook is that, can still be achieved. My non-renewal of membership of the EFF is not a vote of no confidence in the organization, but a revolutionary act that will allow progressive forces to unite and work toward the agenda for progressive revolutionary change. Revolutionary act? Letting your subscription lapse is a revolutionary act? I'm sorry. I think going to Lexington and Concord and putting your musket out and shooting at British troops marching in formation is a revolutionary act. I think that standing in the streets of Bucharest when Nicolae Ceausescu gets up on the balcony and tries to convince you that all is going to be well and shouting him down to when he flees and the government's overthrown, that is a revolutionary act. I don't think that leaving a nonsensical leftist political party constitutes a revolutionary act. Floyd Shivambu. And by the way, folks, as we said repeatedly now, I've told you, this is Jacob Zuma's ultimate revenge. He has destroyed Julius Malema, which is ultimately his goal here. And it helps him immensely. So there'll be more people leaving the party. We'll watch and see what happens in the next few days. It should be very interesting to see if there is a cratering of support and membership of the EFF. I expect that to be the case. But Julius Malema tries to put lipstick on a pig and say, oh, it's not a big deal. This is not the end. This is just, we're just facing a challenge here. More of them will run off. EFF, MK doesn't care how corrupt. Exactly. Banning ship. The SS EFF is sinking. Yeah, is the battle of the junta still going on? I wonder how Malema really feels about this. Oh, he's not happy. You remember, Stan, folks, that everybody's saying hi to Byron. Look at the love, man. Look at the love for Byron. Look at this, man. They love you. Dude, they love you. Look at this. Jacob the Great Emperor. Yeah. People loving Byron. Byron Shepherd, man. We haven't done a Bribe Brews. Today would be the day we normally do it, but I'm tied up. So maybe we'll do one next week. Zoom will be smoked out backwards. Yeah, no, Zuma is the ultimate clever politician. Everyone's been spending the past year talking about how clever Gabe McKenzie is. He can't hold a candle to Jacob Zuma. He's clever. Don't get me wrong, but he can't. Morning Shot, no, he won't turn state witness. They know the MPA is going to mess it up. Well, we'll see if he turns state's witness. But, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. But you never know. Anyway, so it's starting to get a little warm out here now. We're past midday, reaching the peak, the apex of that big flaming ball of gas. No, not Joe Biden, the sun, our sun. Yeah, the thing you need the Sonnenbrillikis for. Sonnenbrillikis. Anyway, yeah, so everything's yellow. I'm going blind. Everything's yellow. Oh, okay, it's just the Sonnenbrillikis. I love the Morning Shot collabs. Well, they're not Morning Shot collabs. I've never been invited on Morning Shot. Never, not once. Never. But they have guests occasionally. I have never been invited on the Morning Shot. Do you know that? Never. Now, I've had Ramon Cabanach on my show as a guest. I've interviewed him in South Africa at a distance several times. He never turned down an interview request. And Byron is collab with me on the Bribe Brews, but I've never been a guest on Morning Shot. Not that I'm bitter about that. My non-renewal of my morning shot subscription is not a vote of no confidence. Whoa! It's not a vote of no confidence in the morning shot. I like my morning shot called Java. Anyway, make your space. Tell them move over a space. Exactly. That's why I named you first as host. Well, yeah, it's my program. Oh, look at that morning shot. Hint taken, hint taken. No, man. I'm just joking around here. There's no need for that. but yeah, I don't think morning shot actually does guess very often. So, Joseph Malema needs to recruit Ibrahim. Who's this? Ibrahim Traoré from Burkina Faso. What is? You're just messing around. Nothing subtle. Oh no, there's nothing subtle about me. No. Actually, I can be very subtle, folks. Listen, if you work in the intelligence world, you do learn the art of being subtle. You do learn the art of convincing others. You do learn the art of knowing when not to stand out in a crowd, which some of you might find surprising, but I can very well blend to a crowd and be quiet when I need to. Yeah, you learn that art very quickly or you don't survive. I was an intelligence professional for 30 years, over 3 decades, and I was very successful at my craft. So you do learn these things. I mean, you don't learn languages for the sake of learning languages. Some people do. I learned them for the sake of learning languages, but it came in very handy for my craft as well. This is a pretty spot here, folks. It really is. With the Yellow Breeches Creek behind me, this big park-like atmosphere here, big trees around. It's pretty cool. Let me turn around so you guys can see these trees. There you go. It's pretty nice. Very nice here. Anyway, I don't think I'll be here tomorrow doing it. It's probably the last time I do this week here. So, oh, somebody's got buffering. Who's got buffering? Charmaine? No one believes the colonel can be quiet. Well, no one believes it, and that's good. See, people have all kinds of false impressions. All kinds of false impressions. Being subtle as a sledgehammer to the temple. You have reflexes like a mongoose. Yeah, I kept that paper from blowing away. It was like taken off. Like a mongoose. Like a mongoose. Clever like a mongoose. Yeah. 007. Not quite, at least not for more than 5 minutes. Oh, come on, Charles. Yeah, no. I can be very quiet when I need to be. But there's no point. I mean, life goes by. You might as well do it. What did Sharman say? When you stand up, you stand out, tall man. Yeah, I am kind of tall. But you're not short yourself there, Arctic. By the way, brother, I need some druvlas. I definitely need some druvlas. When you come back here, if you come to Harrisburg and you don't bring like a whole kg or more of druvlas, I'm going to talk to mechanics about the safety of your flight. Oh, let's talk about that. I read yesterday the text message from that young lady, the 23-year-old, who passed away on the Brazilian ATR flight. Wow. She was complaining, texting her family about the poor condition of the aircraft, how old it was. She's like, I'm scared. This plane is old. The seat's falling apart. Then she sent a photograph, just kind of a sullen photograph, how unhappy she was about the flight. Just before they took off, apparently. What a horrible thing. It was the engine stalled. Both engines must have stalled, and they just went into a death spiral. Now, the fascinating news about this, and the really good news, if ever there could be good news from something like that, nobody on the ground was injured. Not just got killed. Nobody was injured. That's shocking. Nobody on the ground was injured. That's amazing. It didn't land. It crashed. It fell to the ground in a residential area, but the plane just disintegrated. And it fell straight down. It's not like it came down and plowed through the neighborhood. It went and just impacted. What a horrible thing. What a truly horrible thing, folks. That's pretty scary. Pretty scary. We still don't have an answer on what happened. Icing is one of the excuses, which could very well be the case. They lost lift. And, so what happens, Artie can correct me, I stand for correction on this, but with icing, what happens is you lose lift because the shape of the wings gets changed by the ice accumulating on the wing. And so you lose lift. When you lose lift, you stall. Engines aren't turning. Yep. So, yep. That's why you need a jetpack. Amplified those reflex skills in the forum. Oh yeah, listen, I always got, by the way, did they try to, yeah, they did. It was a denial of service. It was a directed denial of service attack on the interview. That's why it took 40 minutes plus to get it started. Good techs, they get plenty of dwarves. You take care of your flight. You take care of your mechanics, but not me, man. I see how it is. What's your favorite game meat? Kudu. Age attacks all subtleties. Mine are gone now. When was it J6 event? He just left in time not to be in the pictures and videos. Exactly. Might be writing memoirs from government study. Yeah, no. I was also didn't encroach on the space that got people in trouble. Yep. Lift disappears and asymmetric drag increases. That's the thing that gets you. Yep, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Now my draw voice doesn't have it. No, it's kudu draw voice. No. Yeah, no, thank you, Arctic. That's exactly right. You lose lift, and that's pretty frightening. It's pretty frightening. I've been on planes and seen the ice out there, and they come out and de-ice it. I'm like, I hope they got it all. Mechanics get my draw voice. Exactly, Hendo. The mechanics got my draw voice. Look, I'd settle for some biltong right now. I'd settle for some biltong. Garrett says he got 2 sticks of kudu. Well, thanks for sharing that. Putin's Russia got encouraged. Malema's EFF got infiltrated. He took Putin to us, and we are Putin's little bit. What's this? Too literally. Okay. All right. Don't know about that. Anyway, that's a lot of fun. All right, folks. The loss of lift you can counter with thrust, but that drag is going to kill you. Yeah, exactly. You can counter it, but the drag is a problem. So what you have to do typically is drop to a lower altitude. DNR Arctic, isn't that normally the countermeasure if you don't have de-icing equipment that's in the wings? Or like those ATRs apparently have bladders that are in the wings and they can inflate them and it breaks the ice off. But that doesn't happen instantaneously. I don't know if it's like a quick injection and poof, pops it off, but apparently that version of the ATR, was it 72 or 74, apparently has bladders in the wings that can inflate to get rid of it. Yeah, keep the speed up. Yeah, you just keep going faster. But don't you go also going to a lower altitude? It's warmer, but it does not matter until you get to below 10,000 feet. Well, yeah, in a spiral, definitely dropping altitude, but you've lost control of the aircraft. Can you imagine? I haven't really thought about this, but can you imagine being the pilot? Yeah, high speed, low drag, exactly. Can you imagine being the pilot in that craft as you lost control? Terrifying and spinning around. Oh my goodness! And people caught it on film. Wow. What a horrible situation. And we still don't know what happened to MH3, or not 370. What's the one that disappeared over the Pacific there? Just never showed up, the Malaysian Airlines flight. I want to say MH370, but I'm not sure it's MH370. That might be the one that was shot down by the Russian dissidents, which really Russian troops in the Donbass when they murdered all those people. ATR's 3 levels ice protection. The boots are level 3. They inflate and deflate in the sequence automatically once select. Okay, thank you, Arctic. I thought so. See, I'm not just your average guy. Justin says, what happened with Roman? Roman took a position. He's employed elsewhere. He's done something. I don't know if there's more I can share. That was shared on the Morning Shot website. If you go to the website and go to the community tab, you can read the announcement about the specifics of what's going on with Roman. I'm not sure what more I can say about that. Good night, says Lee. Hey, Lee. Blauville Beast Biltong. Well, thank you for that. Roman got called by the Emperor. Yeah. Does the Emperor have no clothes on? Descending initially to maintain speed and only below 10,000. Will the temperature increase enough? Yeah, that's what I see. I got that right too. I said 10,000 feet. You got to get below 10,000 feet. You know, that's 10,000 feet is like the magic level. For aircraft, you have to be pressurized above 10,000 feet. Below 10,000 feet, you don't have to have a pressurized aircraft. Chris Wyatt and Colonel has other take on the plane variation. Yeah, somebody said that, but I haven't seen it. Is it in Afrikaans or English? The take on the aircraft. I haven't seen that. Yes, Roman has joined the MK party. AT is built for efficiency, but seriously underpowered when the ice hits it. Yeah, I think that's true. This isn't the first time ATR has had problems. It's had problems in the past with icing. Well, remember, it's in the southern hemisphere. Brazil, not a particularly cold country, but is in the southern hemisphere. And at that altitude, I mean, when you're at 32,000 feet, they weren't at 32,000 feet, but if you're at 32,000 feet, it's like minus 32 degrees Celsius outside. It's cold. Roman is taking Floyd Shivambu's spot. I should do a video on that. Today, Roman Kabanak joined the EFF. I did joke about that in my video, got 7,000 views. I did joke, did Roman join the EFF? And look, here we go. We got confirmation today. Oh, my goodness. Not convinced it was icing alone. I believe they could have had an engine. No, I think so too. I think they had an engine problem. Yeah. I think that engine problem. I didn't say it was icing. I'm saying that was the initial response from authorities. They haven't given us any answer. Terrible car accident around Neisner Lagoon. Okay, well, be careful if you're down that way in the garden route. Yep. All right. Roman will be the chief of EFF's ground forces. Roman Kabanek, the latest EFF fighter. Roman has joined the whites only brigade of the EFF along with Jack Markowitz and that blonde lady. That could be an issue too. Could have pilots fighting in the cockpit, got out of control and lost control. Yeah, no, I thought they must have had engine failures. I thought they must have had a catastrophic loss of both engines. That was my thought. That's not impossible. That's incredibly rare, but not impossible. Remember that British Air flight? I think it was British Air that was flying to Australia, and there was a volcano, and there wasn't an air advisory. There was no NOTAM that went out to tell people to go away. So, yeah, pretty complex loss of engine would screw the ice protection. Yeah, exactly. That's why you need a backup of some sort. Anyway, but that flight, it flew through a volcanic ash plume. It didn't even know it. They didn't even know it. The engine stalled, and they just dropped out of the sky, and the pilots fought desperately to get the engine restored. They managed to get the engines fired back up and stabilized, and then they were flying, and then they climbed back up, and they didn't know it. They climbed right back into the ash cloud again, and the ash cloud shut down the engines again, and they nearly fell out of the sky again. Wow. It has no APU, no auxiliary power unit. What the hell? What kind of plane is that? I'm not flying on that, man. No APU, no backup systems. That's like an EFF project. Yeah, so that plane fell, and then there's a whole organization of the people who are on that flight. They're the survivors of that flight because they all survived. And the pilots, because, I mean, that changed the way that we do on the NOTAMs, apparently, how we notify people about this sort of thing. So remember when Iceland had a volcanic plume a couple years ago, all the traffic to Europe was delayed, stopped, or rerouted on a longer flight across the Atlantic or across the North Pole because of that ash plume? Yep, I remember that flight. It was crazy, that one where the British Air, I think it was British Airways, yeah, on its way to Australia, and they flew over Indonesia, and they hit and it was very fine granule particles, and it just tore up the blades, and it clogged up the engine and shut them down. And it's a miracle they survived, and because they didn't know that was a problem, and they're flying too low because they burned too much fuel, they came back up to that altitude and it caused the problem again. Wow, unbelievable. Pilots just didn't know, couldn't see the stuff. Anyway, folks, I got 100 people here watching. I don't want to go, but I do need to go. Thanks for being here. They just unplug it and plug it back in. Doesn't quite work like that. Anyway, God bless. Thanks for the likes. We'll catch you later. The German pilot who locked himself in the cockpit and flew into the mountain. His wife had left him, apparently. Oh, I didn't know that's what happened. You're talking about the German Wings flight in France. Yeah, he just flew it right into a mountain. That was horrible. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. Catch you later. Be sure to hit the like button. Cheers.